Welcome back to the TV studio, everybody. So glad to have you with us here on the live stream, coming to you from the beautiful Rye in Amsterdam. We are ticking down the final hours of Cisco Live 2024. Unbelievable. It has been an amazing week, and I'm so glad that we have had all of you with us here on the broadcast. My name is Steve Moulter. I want to remind you, please keep reaching out to all of us on social media by using hashtag Cisco Live EMEA. Whatever social media platform you prefer, that's fantastic. We're here with our social media team ready to respond to each and every one of you. As a reminder, if you have missed any of the fantastic content, the innovation talks, the keynotes, any of our executive interviews or our fantastic demos, no worries at all. You're going to find every one of them in the VOD library. Just go to ciscolive.com. They're going to be waiting right there for you. At this point, we're going to move to the other side of the TV studio where Nish is hanging out with Adele Trombetta, our Senior VP and GM of CX EMEA, the customer experience arm of Cisco. Nish, let's go ahead and head over your way.
Thanks so much, Steve. Adele, you're here with us in the studio. How are you doing?
Very well, and thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Now, we started out the week by seeing you on the keynote stage, which was a great job, by the way.
Thank you very much.
And now we're really lucky because we can bring you this intimate conversation and deep dive a little bit into CX. So I want to start, I know we're going to talk about customer experience, also sustainability. So we heard you in your keynote talk, you talked about observability, automation, AI, and the role that it helps in customers achieving their own goals. So how is Cisco and customer experience and our team going to help customers do that?
That's the perfect way for me to close the week with you.
Yes.
And yeah, great questions. First of all, I must say that really sustainability is top of mind for our customers, our partners, and all of us. And even today, this week at Cisco Live, it was all about sustainability in each and every conversation.
Yes.
Now, having said that, it's even true that our customers, they still do not have visibility into their sustainability performance. And there is an interesting study that we have done recently with IDC, and we found out that only 18%, really still a very relatively small number of our of the EMEA IT departments, they know where they are in terms of sustainability. They have defined a target, and also they are tracking the progress that they are doing. So we have an important role to play here as a Cisco and as a CX. And what we do, to your point, actually we do three things. We help, first of all, our customer shaping their sustainability roadmap. So first thing we do, we assess where they are. We help them understanding their maturity. We align their sustainability and technology goals, and then we define an actionable roadmap. That's the first thing. The second is, okay, when you have defined what the roadmap is, let's make it in actions, and that is the scale. We help them bring in all the expertise, the experience, and the technology to help them and transform their product, their services, and even their processes. And the last thing that we help them is the sustain. You start, you implement, you scale, but then you have to continue improving your sustainability journey. And that's what we do with very simple, easy to use digital dashboards where our customers can see real-time data, insight, and recommendations too.
Amazing. And I know, CX has a broad portfolio. We have so many different services on offer. What are some of the outcomes that you are looking to drive in EMEA with our customers with CX?
So first, thank you, because for us it's all about outcomes.
Yes.
That's exactly what we want to do. We want to help our customers achieve their business outcomes.
Yes.
They need to have the best return from the investment that they do in our technology, in our amazing technology. And look, sustainability is one of the many outcomes we can help our customer to deliver. Recently, we have launched Lifecycle Services that is a easier and more flexible way to help our customers. And sustainability is one of the 11 outcomes that we can help them deliver into. If they need to reduce their costs or enhance their security posture or even improve their compliance or any of the other outcomes, we can help them. What we do is, first we define with them, we align on their priorities, then we help them into the definition of which are the KPIs that better represent their priorities, and then we bring in the expert to make sure that they get exactly the outcomes they are looking for.
I mean, that's great. When you mentioned only 18% of companies know really where they're going with sustainability, to have that helping hand from Cisco, to have that customization, those experts, and the access to that level of expertise is really amazing. So what's next, and how can our partners help in serving our customers best?
What's next? That's a
big question.
That's a big one. Because honestly, if you ask me, I think that next is really, the limit is the sky. Why? Because of the power of our technology. If you think about the other big topic of the week, that is artificial intelligence.
We've mentioned that a few times here.
I'm pretty sure about that. But if you bring AI, plus the power of the full stack of observability and the power of the security and the automation, you bring all of that into the solutions for our customer and into even context of sustainability, really what we can do is to allow our customers to have real-time visibility into their sustainability or their carbon footprint, their energy consumption, and optimize all of that and make sure that they continue to have fantastic business performance, improved business performance, and at the same time contribute to the sustainability journey.
Awesome. Now, Adele, this week...
Sorry if I interrupt you, because you asked me about partners.
Oh, please.
Absolutely right. I forgot about that.
Yes, please.
And where partners can help us is they can complement our offerings. Think about that. We have recently launched and signed an MOU with Schneider. Why? Because talking about technology, there is now, we have the OT and the IT that are converging, and the power that can bring when it comes to sustainability. So to answer to your question, we will complement our offerings to make sure that we better serve our customers.
Awesome, and I actually had the opportunity to interview Rodney Clark earlier this week as well, so he was talking a little bit about the value that our partners can bring, obviously in service of our customers together with Cisco, so I'm sure he's going to be very pleased to hear you say that. So the final question I have for you is, this week you talked a bit about these CX customer heroes, and one of the things that we love to do here at Cisco Live is celebrate the Cisco Live community, but also people who are doing amazing things. Tell us a bit about what that award is, and I know we're going to come back shortly and hear more about that in a real life story, but tell us what the award is.
You know what is the best part of Cisco Live, and we wait 1 year to have and to celebrate our customers, because as I said on the keynote, they are really the change makers. They are the ones that prove the value of our technology, and with them we can really make an impact on our future, on our people, on our life. And we celebrate 7 of them, and very soon we will talk with one of them that is about sustainability. But what really matters is that they inspire us. Because we see what we can do and how much we can achieve, and every year we raise the bar and we try to do even better.
Amazing. I'm so excited to be joined by one of those customer heroes. Thank you so much. Well, we're going to come back to you, Adele, but first, Steve, back over to you.
Thank you so much, Nish, and we'll look forward to coming back over to you and Adele in just a moment. So, I'm here in studio now with Pete Davis, Director of CX Global Partner Success, and with John Christensen, Global Offerings Manager for IBM. Gentlemen, welcome. I'm so glad that both of you are with us today.
Thank you. Likewise, thank you.
This is a great partnership. This is a long-term partnership and a powerful partnership between these two organizations. It's been so valuable, I know, for both of us. First thing I want to ask, partnership, Pete, it's really the backbone of CX and what it is that we do. How has that partnership focus really materialized specifically in our work with IBM, one of our favored, best, and long-term partners?
Well, I think for us at Cisco, we are a partner-led company. We always have been, and we always will be. And our relationship with IBM allows us to be able to blend the best of what we can bring to our customers. So what we see is, we see the opportunity to be able to take our business and start to focus on material growth and really enhancing how we're serving our customers and getting them through to being able to fully enjoy everything that Cisco and IBM have to offer.
I love that. Before we even dive in further, John, I want to come to you and sort of ask the why Cisco question, right? IBM has a lot of options out there in the field. Why Cisco?
It's a no-brainer. Obviously, Cisco is the 800-pound gorilla in the networking market. And for us, it really goes back to our history, right? So back in 1999, right, we got out of the networking business. We sold all our patents around Token Ring to Cisco. And we were all in at that point in our strategic partnership with Cisco. So, we've all evolved big time over the 25 years, and we keep seeing so much more opportunity as Cisco evolves and gets into more markets. We have an opportunity to grow with Cisco.
Absolutely, and we love to hear that, we really do, and we value it so much. We put a huge emphasis on feedback, right? From our partners, from our customers. How has CX demonstrated listening to what our partners have to say, what they want from us, what they demand from us? How do we respond?
Well, first and foremost, we want to make it clear that at Cisco, feedback is the breakfast of champions.
Yes, indeed.
And we use that feedback to be able to influence what we develop, our programs, our offers, and our go-to-market. So really it's about the partnership and using that feedback to co-create the best solutions for our customers. Mm-hmm. So ultimately everything comes to the closed loop of being able to get the customer exactly what they need, and our partnership facilitates that.
And when you think about a venerable brand like IBM, I mean, it's hard to compare IBM to a lot of other brands. You've been around a very, very long time. I think responsiveness to the market, to the demands, not only the technical community, but of the user community is really what defines IBM. Yep. It's been a very agile organization, right? Yep. So same thing, I assume feedback very powerful for you as well.
Absolutely, and it's great to work with Cisco because what we have found, particular as this CX engagement, is that the Cisco executive engaged our executives at the top of the house. So we had the right start, and we did it across the different lines of business that were critical for success with Cisco. So it included delivery, solution design, sales of course, and offerings. So when you get that collaboration and that partnership and the feedback, it goes both ways and it's trusted. And it makes all the difference in the world. It helps us accelerate.
Absolutely. I'm going to do a little shameless marketing plug right now and tie it over to you. All right, so the theme of the show, let's go. You are one of the architects of technology lifecycle services at IBM. I'm going to put those two things together. Is TLS ready to go as we stand here today?
Absolutely, we're all in, and as we like to say, all gas, no brakes. So we just launched our Health Check on Cisco offering last week, and we're coming out of the chute with 2 new offers around your SD-WAN, your Viptela offer, coming up here on February 20th. So we've really been concentrating on really getting the relevant offers to market faster, and the CX engagement model that I spoke about before has really helped us engage the different lines of business that all need to be working together. So when we launch, we're ready and all in.
Absolutely. And Pete, what about from the Cisco perspective? I mean, we say let's go all the time. Are we? Are we ready to?
We are so ready.
Yeah.
And I think what we see in IBM is a partner that through their commitment and through their capability has grown faster than any other partner in the CX family, and is now positioned to be able to help us grow together in a profitable way so that we can benefit our customers. So we're going to go hard and we're going to go fast, and we're excited to do that with IBM.
Which brings us to the last thing that I want the three of us to talk about, and that is not just really future vision necessarily, it's current vision, but when we talk to our customers, they need to be intrigued by what we do. They need to be inspired and excited about what comes next. So let's talk about it. What steps do they take to get underway with what this partnership can offer to them?
So reach out to IBM. Obviously we have a huge global sales organization. You can certainly get to people that care, your local account manager right off of IBM.com. So we see the market together. So much of what we're doing in terms of growth initiatives and capturing market demand right now are on the same topics. It's AI, it's sustainability, right? It's security, right? So these are all key areas of growth and the market demands that we respond to this. So we're doing this together, and we're doing it, quite frankly, more effective than we ever have before.
And again, I think that's based on the partnership, right, Pete?
You bet, and if you're in the Cisco family and you need help with understanding how to engage with IBM, call me, email me, WebEx me, get a hold of me, and let me help you connect with IBM and take full advantage of the IBM solutions with TLS.
You can't ask for a better offer than that. We are a human first, a people first organization, and that means reach out to the people who actually know what's what, right? Pete, John, such a pleasure to have you in here with us, and John, thank you again for this amazing partnership. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Pete.
Pete, thanks, man.
Thank you.
Well done for the work that you do. All right. We are going to be coming back in just a few minutes with Anish and Adele and one of the fantastic CX award winners. Remember, social media is out there at all times. Hashtag Cisco Live EMEA. We are going to head back across the way into the other half of our Cisco TV studio. To Anish and Adele, back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Steve. Yes, you heard Steve. If you're having a great time at the event, whether you're at home, you're watching it from anywhere across the world, remember to use hashtag Cisco Live and Cisco Live. We love to hear the experience that you're having, so be sure to share that with us and whatever your highlights are and any ideas that you have for next year's event. So as he said, I'm here joined back by Adele. Adele, thank you so much for staying with us this time. So happy to have you. And we're also joined by Iman now. So Iman, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you. So Iman, you're a winner of the CX Customer Hero Award. Firstly, congratulations. That's really exciting news. I want to come to you, Adele, and I would love to understand, what was it about this story with, Expo City Dubai? What made them an amazing winner for this award?
Look, I must say that I'm really honored to be working with the Expo City Dubai that was first Expo 2020 Dubai since few years. And with the man, at the time it was just desert. There was nothing. And we really built everything from scratch. And the reason why they have won this award is because thanks to the flexibility of our technology, we were able to reuse almost 90% of the infrastructure and data center that we at that time created for the Expo 2020 Dubai. And now we had recently Dubai hosted the COP28, and it's the first COP ever that instead of starting from scratch and create a new data center to serve the event, we were able to reuse what we did, and with that we helped our planet too.
Awesome, Adele, I want to stick with you and ask you one more question, because some people might not necessarily know what the award is about. So what is the kind of criteria? What makes a good winner?
The good winner is the one that has been more innovative, and it's been even the ones that has created more impact in this case on the sustainability on our planet.
Awesome. Now, in a second, I'm going to come to you, Iman, but obviously, can you tell us a bit more about Expo City Dubai? I'm going to come to you in a second, but I would love to hear from the Cisco perspective, what made them a really great, customer to be working with, a great project?
The thing that really differentiates Expo 2020, now Expo City, they are forward-looking, forward-thinking. They are really innovative. They want to bring and try the new technology, the innovation. They are brave. And we want to help them succeeding. So that's what really makes us exciting working with them. And of course, we know that with them, we really can make, as I told you before, a great impact.
Awesome. Now, Iman, I definitely want to come and hear your perspectives on the side of the Why has sustainability been a priority for you, and what are the sustainability goals that you're looking to achieve?
So sustainability has been the cornerstone of our philosophy at Expo City, and it was one of the guiding themes for Expo 2020. And this is symbolized in our Terra Pavilion, which is an LED platinum certified structure. It's a testament to our sustainability vision, achieving net zero in energy, water through its unique, innovative design, including 120-meter wide canopy and 18 energy trees that produce 4 megawatt of energy per year. And when it comes to water consumption as well, we're in a quest to reduce, reuse, and also protect. So in 2019 alone, we've achieved more than 50% of water reduction demand in our buildings, which is equivalent to 41 Olympic swimming pool size.
That's
a lot.
That is a lot, exactly.
It's really a lot.
And I mean, having an event with such a high profile and being able to make such a positive impact is really important in a way to do that responsibly, right? In the same way we try and do that.
Innovate and being responsible.
Absolutely.
Responsible.
True.
Absolutely. So how did CX services help you achieve some of those sustainability goals? I know, you're laughing because you probably have a really close relationship with each other, right? But how have you been working with Cisco CX?
So working with Cisco CX has been essential. I mean, as Adele said, our relationship goes back in years in 2016-17. And as I always say in my video as well, they're part of Expo's family. So back in that time when we were planning and designing, we had to consider the legacy.
Right.
So we had to consider the legacy of Expo site, which is now Expo City. So what did that mean at that time? The way we design the network infrastructure and the technology investment that we made should give us the flexibility, should be cost effective, and should be also central operation or smooth operation, we might call it. All of this is important for us, gives us the flexibility to reuse the network infrastructure to host any mega event with their unique requirement, similar of us hosting COP28.
Amazing.
And what really, if I may add, I think that the most important thing is that we felt that we were, and we are, transformational partner of Expo City, not only just a customer.
We don't consider, I mean, the relationship that we had is, we still have with Cisco is not a typical customer relationship. It's a relationship partnership that was built over the years across, when, as you mentioned, Adele earlier, it was a desert.
Yes.
We built everything together.
From the ground up, and I mean, literally, you're talking about literally building from the ground up. Awesome. So let's talk a bit about the future, and how are you going to continue to partner with CX? What are your plans? I'm sure you have big dreams. Where do you want to go next with the events?
So Expo City Dubai is human-centric cities of the future. So we're focusing on pushing the boundaries of what's possible between the intersection of technology and sustainability. We're working on a very exciting project with Cisco and their partners Schneider on the data center decarbonization project.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me here in the studio. It sounds like the partnership is like a rock star partnership. I'm really sensing the excitement, the love that we have within the two organizations, and also the cultural flair of innovation, doing great in the great in the world, and sustainability as well. Anything final you want to add before we close?
You first.
I think being here in Cisco Live showed us different opportunities that we were working on. The data center is one initiative, but I'm sure through the workshops and the meetings, we came up with a lot of great ideas. Maybe by the next Expo Live, we're going to be announcing another project.
Awesome, great. And
we just want to continue to inspire Expo City and all the rest of our customers.
That's what Cisco Live was all about, right? Inspiring and taking those next steps. Well, thank you so much for joining me both here in the studio. Steve, we're going to head back to you.
Thank you so much, Nish. I appreciate it. Thank you to Adele, and congratulations really to all of the CX Hero Award winners. Remarkable organization. For those of you not currently taking advantage of Cisco CX, this is the customer experience arm of Cisco. And what does that actually mean for you? It means that you've made the investment in Cisco. Let CX help you to maximize that investment. What can you do with what you already have? How can we help you and support you to really make the most out of what it is that you do in partnership with Cisco? That's what we're here for. That's what CX is all about. That's why I love this part of the organization so much. We're going to take a very quick break. Don't go anywhere. I will see you in just a moment. Well, not that I ever want to go anywhere away from CX, but we're just going to take a moment to do that, and we're going to talk DevNet here for a few minutes, and the DevNet zone is somewhere right, like back over there on that side behind us here in the TV studio. DevNet is Cisco's developer program. We're helping developers and IT professionals who want to write applications, develop integrations with Cisco products, platforms, APIs. This includes a variety of different Cisco products in software-defined networking and security and cloud and data center and IoT and collaboration, open source software development. It's so exciting, and Rob is over in the DevNet zone right now. Hello, my friend.
Hello, Steve. Thank you so much. Yes, I am in the DevNet zone. I'll tell you one of the problems with trying to figure out where to go in the DevNet zone, and I don't mean this in a negative way. Mel's here, I'll introduce him in just a second, but it's the fact that there's so much going on. It's like, well, what do you mean? Where am I going to meet you in DevNet? It didn't used to be that way. DevNet's grown quite a bit. Mel, you're a 25-year Cisco veteran. 3 years now, you're a developer advocate for DevNet. But this is a notable year for you guys. You've come a long way. Can you tell us a little bit about how DevNet's evolved?
Yeah, start off as like networkers before, and then now, here we are at the 10-year anniversary. Wow. So we've grown. It has just increased in importance for a lot of developers out there. And we're just seeing that over and over again with the comments that we get from our developer community,
Well, it's interesting, because I remember 10 years ago when you guys were starting this out, and you had craft beers and all kinds of things I really enjoyed. Make sure you keep the microphone up here. When you
Got it, okay.
I'm just getting the signals. But it was the kind of selling people on the importance of what DevNet represented and how to many it was obvious that Cisco needed to go this way. To others it wasn't as obvious, but you guys continue to show how this is Cisco's future, and the growth you've shown really feels like it's part of it. What kind of things are you guys focused on? What's most important that's happening here right now?
So today I think a lot of the importance has shifted over to things like OTEL, technology, open telemetry. That's short for open telemetry, yeah. So observing the network, observing your overall health of just the way things are running in your network, that's all done programmatically today.
Yeah.
And so things like the APIs and so forth are increasingly important. So, and then we're seeing a growth in that area, and we're seeing that in our feedback, we're seeing in the attendance, the questions that we're getting.
Yeah.
For example, I was just working over there in the user experience area, and we're gathering all kinds of constructive feedback rather.
That's good too.
And so yeah.
Well, and what's the focus area? Because I get the feeling that you guys are not just educating people who already understand this, you're not just teaching them about how Cisco does it, there's a lot of industry knowledge, and there's a lot of kind of raising all ships with knowledge so that we have more people in the market with a skill set that's becoming increasingly important for all of us. Is that correct?
Yeah. Okay. And you hit the nail on the head there, because it's not just one thing. We have folks, as you see in the user experience area, maybe we could just kind of pan over in that. It's on the other side over here.
Is that white desk over there?
Yeah,
to the right of the lightning talk sign?
Yeah, you bet. And so over there, what you'll find is we'll put little dots on the technologies that a lot of our developers are using and giving us feedback on. And so I think for me it's really interesting because,
so
like you were
building
saying,
a heat map kind of
thing.
thing.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Okay.
Granted, it's an analog one, kind of with stickers and everything.
But the principle's perfect.
Exactly, yeah. And so what you're seeing is that developers are showing us that it's all these different technologies, like you were saying, and sometimes they're open source, sometimes it's just specifically with networking, sometimes it's specific to container orchestration or what have you, and it's this massive mix of technologies that we're helping.
Well, one of the things you guys brought here that I really appreciated was I've always loved, Cisco to me, when I think about it personally, it's always about always being surrounded by people smarter than yourself. And then, but in such a way that these are people that help you grow because we all kind of push each other or set different examples. And for me anyway, my experience I feel like has always been healthy. Your focus on education, even when you guys first started at Cisco Live, I feel like has been very present. And I'm amazed that how many theaters you guys operate at any given moment. What are you covering in these theaters, and is it a huge range of skill levels? Are people self-selecting? Is it different than what you do in a breakout? What's happening here versus maybe breakout sessions? Yeah,
so I think in ours what we have is, over here we have a theater. Okay. And the theater we're looking for more like thought leadership. Okay. And very high, big picture stuff, exactly. So, and then you'll have, as you go over on this other side of the theater, we'll have workshops. And that's where you get the hands-on. 45 minutes, super intensive, and then you have all like varying degrees of difficulty. So you'll have the basic intro classes, you'll have something that's intermediate, and certainly things that are a little bit more advanced. And it's interesting because sometimes you'll see that people are just standing, even though it's
just on the edges.
Yeah, they're standing on the edges.
On headphones too, but
right.
that one didn't.
Yeah, and they're just taking whatever they can absorb, and they'll just, okay, I can't make the workshop, exactly. Yeah. So you could just see that the enthusiasm and the willingness to learn new things is just something
I feel like for anybody that's looking to continue to develop skill sets that are going to serve them for the long time, whether it's Cisco or not, because everything you guys cover is very applicable in all areas. It seems very industry, not APIs. That's not a Cisco thing, but when it comes to this. Do you guys have learning tracks? How hard is it to say, if someone comes in, I remember going on your website and taking some of the initial tests and going through, and then it would kind of tell me a learning path to go through, and it was all free of charge. I assume you guys still have these resources available?
We do, and they're on developer.cisco.com, and you're going to find learning labs, sandboxes. Certainly if you join us here at Cisco Live, you're going to have participants not only from our team that's providing that, but we provide that infrastructure, if you will, here, so that other experts from within the company can share their knowledge, and you just learn tons. And when you're done there, you can join us on developer.cisco.com, and that's where you're going to find ongoing community that provides all kinds of, like you pointed out, free resources, which I think is massively valuable. And I can only say that because I've had people show up and just thank us. Not me, I mean just thank other people just randomly saying, you know what, you took my career in a whole other direction.
Yeah. Well, and it's a language. You're learning how to speak a language that becomes, so if I understand, route switch and that type of thing, I can't get away without understanding, well, how are we going to interact, and what are the ways in which we're going to standardize on that communication? And now that we're containerizing, we've got open telemetry and everything else, it becomes all that much more important. Final point, what's most important to remember here about DevNet? What do you want to leave people with?
Well, I think it's the importance of the APIs, the importance of programmability. I think early on we were kind of looking around those corners and pitching it, if you will, but here we are. Yeah. And great things have been done with it, and in today's world, as you're seeing sort of almost like this Lego IT sort of mentality of bringing components together outside of your domain, coupled with your domain, I mean, those APIs and that set of skills is incredibly important, and I'm just so glad that we get to serve the community in that way.
Well, I love it. It comes across like that. You guys are serving a community, you're feeding the community, and I like the way that goes. It crosses all BUs. You guys have pushed into Cisco to get better at as a company about doing that. Keep up the good work. Thank you for taking the time. I think I took you away from a customer. Absolutely. But guys, that's it for the DevNet Zone for now anyway. We may be back later. Who knows? Steve, we'll go back to you.
I hope you will be back, Rob. I always love the work that DevNet is doing. Always such a popular spot here at Cisco Live as well. Remarkable job. Please thank the team for me. So now that we are back in the TV studio, we get to talk legal stuff. I've got Harvey Zhang with me, Chief Privacy Officer with us at Cisco. Harvey, thank you for coming in out of your crazy space back over there. You've had a lot of sessions. I'm glad you were able to join us here on the set.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You get, and as you said, we don't get to talk legal stuff all that often.
Right.
What I want to talk with you today is about something that's so cool. It was last month's Cisco 2024 Privacy Benchmark Study. For those of you that didn't see it, this is our annual review of key privacy issues and their impact on business. This year was really interesting, this particular survey, right? Most organizations, they're limiting their use of Gen AI rather than expanding it because they're concerned about data privacy and security issues. 27% say they've banned Gen AI altogether, at least temporarily.
Right.
Give us your perspectives here. What's going on?
Yeah, so this was our 7th year in putting out this privacy benchmark study where we survey thousands of IT professionals around the world across 12 different geographies to get their take and sentiment on hot topics and trends in privacy. And some of the things that stood out was, again, yes, a lot of people are afraid and cautiously embracing this new technology of AI, but some of the other things that stood out is really embracing privacy as a business imperative, which led to our title of privacy as an enabler of customer trust. So this year, some of the findings just really stood out that what we've been talking about for years, like privacy goes far beyond a check the box compliance exercise. And so extending beyond that, like 94% of companies said they wouldn't buy from vendors that they didn't trust to protect their data. And so it just started shifting into something that you really have to pay attention to from a customer and market and business perspective, more than check the box compliance. And that's something that we've talked about from the very beginning of our privacy program 8 years ago.
Right. I mean, we've been in this market. Cisco has been in AI for many, many years. Everybody thinks this is a new concept. It's not. The way we're talking about it is new, but we've been around for 10 years with AI. We see it in tons of our products. I always say that when we're trying to tell a story to people, AI is the perfect example. We have to remember the hierarchy of the way humans hear information. They hear as people first, consumers second, corporations third. We can't go in the opposite direction, right? And that's why I think even from a company level, we say there's a lot of potential opportunity and benefit for AI, but if the person first is afraid of it, well, guess what? We've got to crack that code, right?
Right. So you do have to find a way to harness the power of AI and the opportunity that's out there, but at the same time, make sure that you're cognizant of the risks and approach it with a bit of humility, right? There's so much that we don't know yet, right? And so much that we have to work through and unpack and really have to set that governance structure up. So you start paying attention to what those risks and opportunities are and set your strategy for your organization.
It's a great way to put it. Let's go with another statistic that came out of the survey. 91% of businesses recognize that they have to do more now, as you said, to reassure their customers your data is being used for its intended and legitimate purposes when it comes to AI. How do we get them that confidence that they need?
Yeah, so that is a challenge, but building on a foundation of privacy, because these are some of the things that we've done for years, right? Looking at understanding the data and really driving those concepts of transparency, fairness, and accountability. And what we're seeing in AI is really that transparency and explainability is what customers are asking for, and thankfully business are recognizing they need to do, and regulators are going to start demanding it very soon with a bunch of AI-related legislation that's in the works, really calling for that transparency. People need to know when AI or generative AI has created the content. People need to know when AI is making the decisions that are going to impact your life. And so transparency has been pushed up to the forefront here as one way to gauge fairness, in the sense that fairness is so many different definitions, and I think there's studies that talked about 21 different algorithmic definitions of fairness, and so what is actually fair? So we start with transparency, disclose it, and the public will tell you if what you're doing is fair.
It's so subjective. Do you see 2024 as a tipping point, or as a point where we start to change the nature of the conversation, or do you think this is a longer play?
It's much longer, but I hope the conversation is just beginning, and we're beginning to pay attention. I mean, people talk about AI as the fourth industrial revolution, or the first industrial revolution for knowledge workers was another phrase I heard in this conference today.
You remember what Oliver said during the opening keynote? He said it's more important than the invention of fire. I don't know that I'm going to go that far, but
but it's important in the sense that if you look at what happened in the prior industrial revolutions, people weren't paying attention to the harms that were emanating from that. And we're still discovering, right? And sustainability is a hot topic. We're still going through the impacts of the prior industrial revolutions. So let's try to pay attention and get ahead and proactively try to mitigate and prevent the harms coming from this new technology.
It's a great way to put it. Here at Cisco, we have been researching privacy for a very long time at this point. What do you think are some of the key trends that you personally have seen emerge? Maybe some of the highlights of the research that sort of point up those trends?
Yeah, so it's some of the trends that we're seeing that really stood out. We're seeing, right, the increase in spend related to privacy, but thankfully people are still seeing a very positive return on investment. And so over 95%, despite the increased spend, are seeing a positive return. And the return, it was averaging 160%. I think we would all love that level of return on any investment that we put out there today, but people are still seeing the business benefits of privacy. And we actually gave a talk on that at the IT leadership sessions about the positive business benefits to privacy programs and investing in privacy. Really just the first step is understanding your data. If you have to first figure out what's personal data, what's sensitive personal data, then you start understanding, classifying, segmenting, and then when you understand your data, you can better harness the value and take advantage of the opportunities that the data presents.
And a lot of that data that potentially causes risk, frankly, is already in the system. People already entered it some time ago, not realizing that, okay, we may have a little concern on our hands. I want to go to your specific role. So as Cisco's Chief Privacy Officer, how do you go about navigating that changing intersection between AI and privacy? It's a delicate dance, right?
It is a delicate dance, and privacy started the foundational to our responsible AI program, because AI isn't new to privacy. I think the GDPR that was passed here in Europe in 2016 has Article 22 that talks about automated decision making and working through the risks to a person when AI is being used. But well before that, the 95 directive on privacy also talked about ADM and automated decision making, and even the French privacy laws in the 70s were worried about AI, I guess whatever AI was around in the 70s, but they were very concerned about that. And so we're starting to pay attention to how decisions are made and requiring that a human is in the loop, right? And so those types of things. And as we looked at privacy and AI at Cisco, recognize that yes, privacy is a big issue. We're a critical stakeholder, but the risks and opportunities go far beyond privacy, right? Risks to intellectual property that are unanswered questions of who owns the rights to the data, and was the data ethically and legally sourced? That's a big question that's floating out there, both from a privacy perspective and a copyright perspective. And so there's all those other aspects of human rights, sustainability, all these other components that AI is going to impact. And so at Cisco, although we use privacy as a foundation and using the tools and frameworks we set up, we brought in another group to look after this. And we're recognizing that it has to be multidisciplinary. You have to look at it at all different angles. And so we have a responsible AI committee that's cross-functional, led by our engineering team, and looking at both the promise and strategy and opportunities of AI and the risks and how are we going to deal with them. And just surfacing it first, and so we can have some thoughtful discussions on what the right approach is. And so it's still evolving at this stage.
I think it's so exciting, and what I love is we're personalizing it now,
Yes.
right? So Jonathan Davidson, the other day, he said, let AI do the unimportant stuff so humans can do the important stuff. This is a way I think that we start to pull back from that fear. Let AI cover the things that people don't necessarily want to do to begin with.
Right.
You know, that sort of bit by bit, piece by piece. Let humans have the big creativity and engagement, and that's exactly what you're talking about here, and I think that's what Cisco is pushing, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a tool that is going to accelerate and enable and create new efficiencies and opportunity, but it's also something that we have to pay attention to, and the human has to review it, right? I look at it as a thesaurus on steroids at some points, right? Like, you still have to check, like, is it giving you the right word for the context that you're trying to do? Even in these very powerful large language models, you do have to review it, and I think people are recognizing now, and that's the awareness is critical, right? People are finally recognizing that these LLMs or large language models, they are beautiful writers, but they're not constrained by the truth. And so you have to make sure that it's accurate and fit for purpose what you're using it for, but it can write wonderful prose for you.
I love talking to you, Harvey. The reason is you are such a good storyteller on this front for giving people confidence in what's possible and saying, no, we've got some issues. We're working through those issues. We have the expertise to do that, but stick with us because it's going to get you where you need to go to the outcome that you're looking for. Such a pleasure to talk with you. I'm so glad that you had an opportunity to join us here in the studio, and I'm really glad that you brought this to us and to everybody viewing today.
Great, thanks, Steve.
Congratulations on a great Cisco Live. We're going to take a very short break here at this point. Nish is going to join me in the studio, but right now, Cedric is going to talk to some of the fabulous folks out there on the Cisco Live show floor. Take a look.
Let's figure out what people think about Cisco Live. Let's go. If I ask you 3 words about Cisco Live, what are the 3 words?
Oh, impressive, powerful, I think simple as well.
Venture, a family, security.
Interesting, fun.
Forward-thinking, getting to know your peers.
High technology. Leadership.
Good vibes.
Training.
Massive. Eye-opening.
Inspiring.
Inspiring.
Good fun.
Cutting edge.
Impactful.
Awesome.
Everyone could join.
Magic.
It's very busy.
I found him. I found you.
Well, I wasn't lost.
Incredible. Incredible.
Innovation.
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 Innovative.
Innovative.
Networking. Friendship. People.
Amazing.
Amazing. Amazing and amazing. Could be 3.
Amazing, outstanding.
So if you have to convince your colleagues or friends to come next year, how would you do it?
Look at me.
I don't have to, because we are all here.
Well, I want because I want to, come again, so they would just take up my spot.
The networking and the connections you can make here, along with the moments you would live, I think they are not something you can replace.
If you want to go for the latest news, most interesting insights, you definitely have to be here in Amsterdam.
I would tell them that it's really nice and they had to see it.
A fantastic way to meet with partners and customers.
Everyone's here again to kind of make a success story about how we can make everything a lot better, a lot easier for everyone.
Go to Cisco Live.
Let's go!
I mean, really, if you are wondering why you should come to a Cisco Live, I think that says it all right there. Amazing, 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 all 3 of those words, and this really is a remarkable event. So please, we would love to see all of you at whichever Cisco Live you choose, or all of them, if you want to join us. That would be great as well. Great job, Cedric. Now, did you notice that Cedric was wearing a beautiful gilet, great vest, as he was walking around and conducting those interviews? Well, he got that vest from the Cisco store, which is directly back over here behind me, and our own Cedric DeValder is, in fact, back over there with our RF crew. Hello, Cedric.
Oh, sorry, did we start? Oh, we're live already? Okay, sorry, Steve. I was just trying some new clothes. I like shopping, right?
But yeah, as you said, it's not my delay this time. I'm actually trying to find another vest. So I'm here in the Cisco store, and I just came out of a smart fitting room. And just let's come in real quick because it's awesome technology. Basically, based on what I'm wearing right now, the fitting room recognizes it, and I'm able to ask for assistance. So you can see I can just tap here. It's the jacket I have on right now. And I can be like, I think this size is actually quite all right, but I want to have a different color. Or, you know, I think, Steve, are you an extra large? Maybe I can bring one for you. I can then basically request assistant, and somebody will come in and like basically hand me the stuff. So that's, I think, pretty cool. I think we all know this issue that when we're like, you know, shopping and like you're like, oh, where is someone to help us? I think this is really technology that can help that, help with that process. So if we just go outside, and I know our cameraman is gonna like, you know, don't fall over. So there is so much to shop about at the Cisco store, but it's more than a merchandise store at Cisco. It's also to showcase the technology from Cisco itself and our partners. We have cameras over here. Let's just have a look around here as well. We have cameras in the corner. Those are Meraki cameras. And then, of course, we have some beautiful products here from polos. I need a new golf polo, actually, Steve. What sweaters and so on. On the other side, we have a new line as well. Actually, this is quite funny. I think they made this line especially for me because they put a C everywhere. Not really sure, and there is a Cisco logo on it as well, but I think they just thought about me, I think. If we go a little bit further, like the jacket that I have on, I think is really, really, really cool. So we have over here jackets for men, for women. As you can see, a whole range of collections, some nice vests. We have water bottles on the right-hand side as well, if we go here. And another cool part of the store as well is these price, oops, I'm breaking the store, is actually these price tags. They're also connected, and it basically shows a little bit more information about the product and the price. So this can all be updated remotely as well. So they'll fix it afterwards. If we then go a little bit further over here, behind, so our lovely shop attendants are always super helpful. But behind that, you can see that there is a Meraki display, and that display shows all of the cameras here, and they're actually smart cameras as well. Smile for the camera. See, I said they're lovely, aren't they? So if we'll go here, because everything that is being sold in this store is made, or is basically sold because it wants to empower an inclusive future for all, something at Cisco that we live by, right? So if we go a little bit further down here, a little bit further, it's quite a trek. There is a donation tab, right? So the Cisco store is actually donating to 4 causes on our behalf. We can actually just take one, put it in, oops, and then basically based on what's in the box, you can choose your donation. I will make sure that we spread it evenly, just to be sure. So I think I did this one and this one. Done. We donated €1 to those organizations. It's getting at the end of the week talking, right? That's only what we saw, a very limited selection of what we sell at Cisco. So there is also the Cisco store online. You can visit that by merchandise.cisco.com. And until tonight, you can basically use the code Cisco Live Ship to get free shipping. And that is whatever you're here at the conference, you can use one of the tablets to fill it out and it will ship it to your home. Or if you're at home and you're dialing into the live stream, you also have the opportunity to use that code and you can get some Cisco merchandise. We have some more interesting and cool stuff over here. They always ask after the tour, so Kaylee is just around the corner and she's doing a tour right now to showcase. They also use, they can also like show some of the things that people find most interested, and that's with the sensors and cameras. Steve, I'm just going to ask you, what are you most interested about when you walked into the Cisco store?
Sorry, I've got both of you talking at the same time. I missed that. What was that, Cedric?
I'll just say it again. What are you most excited about in the Cisco store?
Well, I love the work. I mean, as an extra large person, I love what Kaylee Visconti and Brian Domine always set up when they're here at Cisco Live, because it's not just on the retail side. Everybody thinks that the Cisco store is, I'm going to look through the books, the different authors that are here at the show, I'm going to look for, again, the retail pieces. No, this is actually a technology demo. It's an enormous demo, and it's showing all the latest and greatest within the retail space and sphere. I was with Kaylee when we were were at National Retail Federation. She and Brian had a fantastic talk at that particular event, and they brought all the different technologies on the security side, the distribution, the delivery side, the order chains, and it was just such cool stuff. And I also loved what you were showing there with the try-on outside of the room. I mean, I wasn't sure what you were going to emerge wearing or not wearing, Cedric, but it was really cool to see you come out of that.
Steve.
That's all right, no worries at all. But I think the technology side of the Cisco store, to me, is the most exciting part of it, far beyond the retail offerings. All right, great. So, Nish, I wanted to come to you to talk about other parts of the hub, right?
Yes.
So we were just in the DevNet zone. We were over in the Cisco store. Talk to me about what's over in Hall 7. I never get out of here. This is what the bars are here for, is to keep me
Steve in.
here. It's to keep me in, not to let anybody else in. It's just to keep me from getting out. What have you seen over in Hall 7? Talk to me.
I have loved the Cisco Showcase. So that is where we have some of our biggest customer priorities here on show at the event. So from secure the enterprise. Obviously, I used to work in the security team. It's really great to see all the advancements and innovations that have happened just in a couple of years. Right. The transform infrastructure, reimagine applications, and of course hybrid work as well. We've been talking about how to make the office more of a magnet, not a mandate, in the ways that hybrid work solutions are going to do that. And I think what I've loved seeing over there is something we've been talking about all week, like AI, how that's actually embedded into a lot of our technologies and solutions through WebEx, through the AI assistant. Even today, we're here. I'm missing a few meetings this week because we're here. Yeah, I'm not really missing out on anything because I've got the AI assistant giving me notes, actions, all the things I need to do when I get back, and I love it because it's making my job a lot easier to catch up. Absolutely, focusing on the positive. I'm glad that you brought up our different offices that we have around the world. When we were at Smart City Expo in November, so much of what we were hearing about from Cisco was what we have done within our own offices, right? So as far as the back to work or as far as the hybrid work environment goes, all of a sudden these places are becoming remarkable gathering spots. Yes. One of our great colleagues, Davis, who he spent a little time in Chicago. So he's not based in Chicago, he's in Seattle, but he was in Chicago and he and I got a chance to visit. He had just come out of our Chicago office and said, I'm jealous about this. I did not hear about this. I want to live there. No, It was just amazing. I was also just talking with Jonas. He was here a few minutes ago, a new gentleman that I had met out of the Paris office, and he said, you've got to come and look at what Cisco is doing with the Paris office. I haven't been there yet. I don't know, how are things going in your territory on that front? Because I haven't seen yours either. I mean, our office is also great. Actually, Steve, I recently hosted a webinar for Cisco, so webinars.cisco.com if you want to stay in touch with what Cisco is doing in this space. And I hosted our Chief People Officer, Kelly Jones, and also our SVP of Workplace Resources, Christian Bigsby. And we've recently released a white paper with Deloitte talking about hybrid work and where it's moved to in the future of the workplace. And what I really loved is Kelly is our Chief People Officer and Christian is our Workplace Resources Executive. They were talking about the foundation to it. It's not just thinking about how to make it look pretty but really thinking through from the ground up what do you want the culture of your organization to be? How do you want people to work together? What's the collaboration culture going to look like? And then you build and you design around the people. So it was so fascinating to speak about hybrid work and to hear from these executives how we've done it at Cisco. It's like a behind the scenes of the beautiful Paris office, of the Chicago office. And it doesn't start with the technology pieces. It doesn't start with a really cool office with free food. It starts with the people at the heart of it, and then they build up from the culture they aspire to have, and then obviously going from there, the technology fits in. It's such an enabler. It's what creates such part of the magnet. And then obviously, you see things like in a Paris office, we have that beautiful, French culture, the architecture. When you marry those together on top of the people and culture you want to build, I think that's what creates a really successful workplace. Couldn't agree with you more, Nish. I know I sound like a broken record when I say it, but when you amaze and delight the human being first, guess what corporations are made up of? Large quantities of human beings, and we always try to play to that company benefit first, and I always let people know, no, pull back. Speak one-on-one to a fellow human, make them happy, make them excited about what they're doing, inspire them to do better work, and guess what? You end up with a better corporate culture. Speaking of which, let's take a break from you and me. Okay, we've got a couple of different things. Which one would you like me to go to, Amy? We're going to go straight to Rob live out there in, where are you, Rob? You tell me.
Oh, do I have to tell you?
You have to tell me, Rob.
All right, well, let me give you a hint, Steve. There's a threat wall behind me.
I was feeling threatened there a moment ago. Are you in knock territory, maybe?
I am in knock
yes,
land.
You are.
Yeah, I'm in knock territory for sure. All right, Lionel, correct?
Yes.
Make sure, welcome, thank you so much. It's the first chance we've had to ability to meet. You've been at Cisco a long time, though.
Yes, I have been at Cisco.
And even though we've been here at the Not Talking Technology, and feel free to talk technology, but I really wanted to understand more about how you guys have changed things from a people aspect. You were regaling me with some of those stories here, but start anywhere you want to with that.
Yeah, so first I think the main thing is talking about the team. So our team is a variety of people that comes from different places in Cisco. We are all volunteer teams of the NOC in Cisco Live EMEA, and part of it is come from people that joins through the earlier in career program and the intern program. And then in the NOC team, we have different sections. So we start with the wireless section. I think you already talked today with my colleagues from the data center side. And then I'm more into the wired network portion. And then we have our security folks. And security folks, we can talk about a bit of the tools here. But one of the things we have done this year is really try to integrate the team into a single team, trying to do a better job at working together to that one goal, which is making a network that works the whole time. That's the perfect network for Cisco Live. And then one of the things that we saw is converging the tool set. So we started using the similar tool to deployment, integrating the different tools together. So we started integrating, for example, our Catalyst Center for assurance for both wired and wireless. In the past, we were using more for wireless, and so now it uses the complete systems. We also integrated the deployment elements. I might show you a bit later on some of the maps tool that we have been using. But so converging the tools help us converge the teams and have a better feeling of one team, one purpose.
One thing that always jumped out at me is that you provide opportunities for junior network engineers. I don't know, which may or may not be young people, but it often is. Can you talk a little bit about how many people are involved with putting an event like this together? Where do you get them from, and what kind of opportunities does that present for them?
Yeah, so the team is overall 60 people in total. Okay. The team comes from different background in Cisco, and there's different ways to join. As I mentioned, it's all volunteers, and the way I joined was through one of the graduate programs of Cisco. So Cisco has different graduate programs around sales, CX, and TAC, or support center. And I joined through the sales element, and then every year we get people from both the junior sales engineers and from internships that they do in Cisco to join the team and help us. Because let's be honest, the first things to do is trying to patch things, deploy. If there's an issue, we send someone to kind of make sure that it's correct or the issue has been fixed. That's the first steps, and then the people comes back in the team over year and get more responsibility. So that's what my journey was when I started, and now I'm working on more of the larger architecture of the network.
And it'd be my understanding, I mean, how many opportunities would you have gotten to do the kind of things that you're exposed to here? I mean, it just doesn't come up that often, right?
No, and it's not only the technology. It's so in Cisco,
working within a team at the very least.
In Cisco, it's not only the technology, because we have this ability here to be able to meet people that works in really different ways, and that opens your social circle and your opportunities to also not only work with brilliant people, but also work with people that are in different jobs. So you get exposed to new jobs, new opportunities, new elements. This is just an opportunity I don't think you find anywhere else.
Well, we were teasing the threat wall a little bit. Yes. Can we step over here? Show me. First of all, I just like the colors, and I like it draws. I saw Denise over here. Fish was presenting quite a bit. She always had a crowd, but she's not here now. So can you tell us kind of what's the big picture story we're showing here?
Yeah, so here we are showing the different elements that we collect as an information to know about the people and the things that are happening in the network. So here we have our kind of control center of XDR, which allows us to kind of dissect incidents. It takes all of the information from the different elements. So this year we added additional firepower in the core to be able to span all the traffic of the venue. So we added capacity to be able to really span the whole traffic that you guys are going to the internet with, to be able to detect incidents. So you can see here that some of the system have detected some incidents, some have been contained, some have been assigned to people to review. We do actually very few enforcement of policy. We do that through umbrella DNS. But for the rest, we consider ourselves a little bit of a service provider for people. But we monitor. And if there is anything that we see as an issue, we take action.
So you're not hard shutting them down? You're not
No, we are more finding the people and explaining what they should be doing differently than actually shutting down. So we have a lot of monitoring on what things are happening, but not necessarily enforcement.
Well, I know you can't tell me everything, but I'll just try it anyway. Are there been any stories that have popped up? I know, when you build a network this size, you've got such a variety of vendors. most of which are really need the connectivity to even be able to put their demos forth. Yep. And that's certainly how Cisco's doing it as well, because that's what I think people forget is that all the demos that are here, yes, there's equipment, most of that equipment's not working, most of it's just for show, the rest of it's happening off-site somewhere else, and that's just a more efficient way to work, but sometimes it also introduces challenges.
Yeah, and some people don't necessarily understand, the people that come for the demo don't necessarily understand how the demo works and what the requirements are for that demo in terms of need of network needs. Yeah. And so we always have a challenge between what do I request and what do I need. And so people come on site and, oh, my demo doesn't work, how can we get that fixed? So there's a lot of discussion and finding a solution that works for both the way we design the network to work and also a way that works for the demonstration. So we have things around, I plan to use my corporate VPN to access, which is not allowed on some of the desktop here, versus also people just didn't realize that they were using AWS or some of the other elements there. So I think there's a lot of different things, and then people also forget they might be running some software they shouldn't be running in a corporate event.
Because I'm sure you probably work with them in advance before they come here, but at the same time, as we all know, when we work with people, the reality sometimes can shift. And I understood also you guys pre-build this network here in Amsterdam to ensure everything's working, you're powering it up and make sure everything arrived and is working the way it's supposed to before you come back and do it again here?
Correct. So we actually staged this network in the Amsterdam office. It's funny that it's in Amsterdam the same. We have actually been doing that into the Amsterdam office since Barcelona. I can actually show you some of the network.
We just got about 30 seconds left, but let's take a look. I love show and tell.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
So you might be seeing here the diagram here of the network. And so all of the things that you see almost in this diagram, all of the things that's on the upper half of it here is actually staged into the Amsterdam office, into flying racks or rolling racks. And so we test everything from that point of view. So every network portion, every element that we have. We test also new software, things around. So this year we deployed new wireless access point, the 9166D1, and we are using software like radio resource management things.
The new RM
so we
stuff,
test those new RM stuff all in Amsterdam office, and then we ship it here, or when it was in Barcelona, we ship it to Barcelona, and then when we come on site, we spend a few days to plug everything back on and do that. But,
Lionel, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate your time. Appreciate what your teams have done here and sharing all this information. You know, it's funny, two things that he didn't mention, but I know they've got a party tonight. They, with all the young people and all the hard work, they work 24 hours a day. They've been here much longer than anyone else because they're first on the scene. They're going to party like rock stars. They've got speakers and lights and geeky stuff that they're ready to do tonight. But then they also have the thing that I always used to enjoy going to quite a bit. I haven't had time. I'm going to be gone by this time tomorrow. But they have a review where they go through with all the vendors and the key leaders of each of the technologies that are all working together in the NOC, and they openly share with the audience what went right, what went wrong, how we built things different, what happened with our connections, who's our supplier, that type of thing. Great stuff in the NOC. It's very much part of the culture of Cisco. That's it for the NOC. For me, Rob, back to you in the studio. Steve?
Rob, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it. Great job, as always. Next up, we are going to replay our innovation talk that asks the question, is your organization AI ready? How can you manage, secure, and scale your AI-powered technologies? Vijay Pandey, Senior VP of Outshift by Cisco, is joined by Anurag Ingwa, Senior VP and CTO of Cisco Collaboration, along with Fletcher Previn, Cisco's CIO, to talk about the different ways that Cisco is strategically approaching key pillars of AI security, collaboration, observability, and services management. We have got so many learnings from our own IT security and application leaders. They have worked through amazing challenges at scale to deliver amazing Gen AI solutions. Let's hear all about them right now. Enjoy.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I know all of you are here to talk about the two-letter acronym that's on everybody's mind, AI. But we're going to focus ourselves on generative AI, not the broader topic of AI, but focusing on generative AI. I'll have Anurag and Fletcher also join me on stage in a little bit. But before that, let's dive in and figure out what can generative AI do for us. So if you think about generative AI, just open up the aperture to what you've been accustomed to so far. So it is a piece of technology that actually allows for generation of content, for summarization of content, or for transformation of content. So any kind of content, whether it's text, whether it's visual, so images, as well as video, or whether it's audio. And if you think about text, it could be code as well, because code is a part of text. Increasingly, what we're also seeing is that all of these modes of content are merging into the model as well. So models are increasingly becoming multimodal. So when you think about use cases in your organization, don't just think single mode, think multimodal, because you will be blending text to speech, text to video, text to code, and so on and so forth. So think about it in terms of multimodality. Now, since so much can be done with generative AI, we found out from the AI Readiness Index that Cisco ran a couple of weeks ago that 97% of companies really are under pressure to build something that is Gen AI first and deploy those solutions in their organization. But only 14% of organizations are actually ready for it. And there's a reason for this. The reason is that generative AI is actually evolving pretty rapidly. And so as it evolves, if you think about building solutions, it's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up with the model evolution that's happening out there. It's hard to keep up with the safety needs of deploying these applications. It's hard to keep up with the scalability requirements, with the security requirements that align to the policies in your organization. So that's why it's very difficult for organizations to keep up with the pace of generative AI that's happening out there. And by the way, it's true for everybody. People who are in the weeds in generative AI, the people who've actually invented transformers and generative AI also are having a hard time keeping up. So you're not alone. So take comfort in that fact that you're not alone. But if you think about the journeys that you need to go through, we've tried and categorize it in 4 buckets here. And just assume that you will be in all of these 4 buckets every given moment in time. So the first bucket is you're just consuming that piece of technology. So if it's an app, ChatGPT, you might just be consuming it without customizing it. The second bucket is extending it. So let's say you take our foundation model, but you want to make it specific to your organization's needs. To do that, you'll have to bring in knowledge bases and data sources that are specific to your organization. Let's say you're dealing with finance, and you have a question about finance. You need to feed in data which is specific to finance in your organization for that model to be able to answer those questions. So that's extending what you're doing. Then moving, you might be customizing it. So to customize it, you might start with the actual model itself and fine-tune it to make sure that it suits your needs. Finally, if you are one of the daredevils that are AI first, you might actually build the foundation model yourself. So that's the last bucket. Typically, what you'll see is enterprises where we all belong. If you're not planning your birthday party, or if you're not planning your travel itinerary, you might be sitting in the second, the third, and the fourth buckets. Because just consuming an app as is probably not as relevant to organizations. You might need to customize it in some shape, way, or form. But again, like I said earlier, you will be in each one of these buckets all the time. You'll have tools that fall into each one of these buckets all the time. So as you think about all of those deployment modes, and if you think about how to develop apps or how to deploy some of these tools, what is it that you usually go through? First and foremost, you need to figure out use cases. What makes sense? What are the use cases that you need to pick to experiment? And if you're new to experimentation, the only piece of advice I would give is just jump in. Jump in, pick a use case that has a low cost of failure. So if something goes wrong, no big deal. Because if you don't jump in, the first thing that happens is you don't know what you don't know. And once you jump in, you realize it's not just the skill set gap that you might have. It might be the data gap that you might have. It might be that the pipeline that you're trying to build needs to come from various places, not just one vendor, but various different vendors. So all of these gaps, you will not figure out. It might be policies that your organization has put in place that disallow a few tools or don't let them work the way you would want them to work. So you do need to jump in. You need to pick a use case with a low cost of failure. And then you start thinking about what next. So let's figure out my KPIs. What do I want out of this deployment or this use case? And if I deploy them, what is that before and after metric that I'm measuring? I need to start thinking about safety. Is it going to hallucinate? Is it going to output toxic information? What kind of guardrails do I need to put in place so that it's safe as well as secure? And then you start experimenting. You start building a sandbox. You start looking at how these things behave, the application behaves in that sandbox. And once you're happy, you deploy at scale. And once you go in production, you need to worry about scaling, cost, security, and so on and so forth. So you usually go through all of these steps to actually make a generative AI use case real. What we are figuring out is people are jumping in, which is a good thing. They are on step 1. Steps 2, 3, and 4 are really, really difficult for people to grasp. And so here we're going to bring up a few people on stage in a little bit who've actually done this at scale at Cisco, and we can talk about challenges that they've faced while doing this at Cisco. But the other complication in deploying some of these Gen AI workloads in your organization is that it's a multi-organizational problem. So you have the builder, the people who are actually building that use case. They want to run really, really fast. You have the spender. Usually it's the GM, or it could be the IT team. And in our case, we'll talk to both the IT team as well as the GM of the organization. And they want to know how we are doing. You might be spending a ton of money sending tokens to OpenAI. Are you getting the response that you needed? Are you getting a good before and after picture? Is there good return on investment? And then finally, there are approvers. You need to make sure that your data is safe, your information is safe, but also you need to make sure that your customer's information is safe. You need to make sure that there is no bias that is inherent in your models. You need to make sure that they're secure. You don't want somebody else to come in and hack your LLM pipeline, and things can go awry at that point. So all of these personas need to come together to make sure that your rollout is safe and secure, and it needs to be done pretty rapidly. So with that, what I'd like to do is invite Anurag, who's our SVP and CTO of engineering in collaboration for WebEx, as well as Fletcher, who's our CIO, to help and talk about how they have dealt with AI in the enterprise. Because in Cisco, we think about AI deployments in two categories. One is productivity, which is how is Cisco itself benefiting from the tools that are generative AI first and improving our productivity, as well as a builder like Anurag, who's using AI in his WebEx portfolio day in and day out to build some nifty features in the product. So Anurag and Fletcher, please come on board.
Thank you, Vijay.
Thank you for joining me, and let's have a conversation. Both of you have been deploying a bunch of these tools in Cisco, as well as building a product using generative AI in WebEx. So let me start with you, Anurag, and can you help us understand the kinds of features that you've built in collaboration using generative AI?
Absolutely, thank you for asking. So we've been using AI in WebEx for a long time. You know, we have features like audio noise removal and virtual backgrounds and so on, but we're specifically talking about generative AI. So let me talk about that. Recently, we've added an AI-based assistant in WebEx, and that's going to be available across the whole portfolio. So all of the products in the WebEx suite, as well as our contact center, are going to benefit from this AI assistant. And to give you a few examples of what it can do, if you were at the keynote this morning, you saw Jeetu talk about a little bit of this. To jog your memory, one of the productivity boosters that the AI-based assistant enables is this capability to catch up very quickly. So you might have joined a meeting a little bit late, or you were in a meeting but you had to step away for a little bit. The assistant is always active, and so it can help you catch up on what you missed. And you can have a follow-up conversation with the assistant, so you can, for example, ask if anyone took your name, if anyone gave you an action item, and then at the end of the meeting, you get a nice summary and insights out of that. So that's a very simple, straightforward, obvious example, but a huge productivity boost. If you think about another capability where generative AI is very good, it's generating new content. And so this example that I'm sharing now is the ability to rewrite a message and make it better. And this is something that I do quite often with my team. Before I send a message, I want to make sure that I'm friendly, I'm inclusive, and I'm getting my point across, but really make sure that I can cultivate my relationship. So AI can help you do that as well. And if you think about the admin persona, people who are managing these deployments, the AI assistant can be quite a bit of time saver there as well. Jeetu talked about this example this morning as well. Let's say I want to troubleshoot a problem with a call or a meeting quality. I can just engage in a dialogue with the AI assistant in WebEx Control Hub, and it can bring all the relevant information at my fingertips. And you were earlier talking about generative AI in the context of audio and video and other things as well. So this is an example where I'm asking a text-based question, but the assistant comes back with charts, and it's truly multimodal in that sense. And so these are just a few examples, but like I said earlier, AI is going to be embedded across the whole portfolio in WebEx, and it's going to be pervasive in everything we do.
So there are a lot of companies out there that build AI-first solutions.
Yeah.
How is Cisco any different from any of them?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because almost everyone in the industry is talking about assistants now, right? Like that's the most obvious first step that everyone is taking. Our approach is slightly different because we think very deeply about how people communicate. And when you think about how we communicate with each other, there's a part of that communication that is text-based. Emails, chat messages, SMSs, and large language models are very good at summarizing those, extracting insights out of that. But a lot of communication happens in non-text modalities. People communicate a lot with gestures and reactions and tone of voice. And if you're not capturing that information, you're really missing out on a lot of context. So this is why we've introduced industry's very first real-time media models that can capture all of that context that is happening in audio and video. And then when you combine that with large language models, you can deliver some amazing capabilities. So that's what sets us apart. And then one other thing I'll say is, given our heritage in strong audio and video capabilities, we've recently announced a brand new audio codec. When you think about those assistant capabilities I was showing earlier, if the assistant cannot hear you properly, it won't generate a good transcript. And if it doesn't have a good transcript, then the summarization will be pretty poor. So fundamental problem is, how do you get crisp audio and video across the network, especially under heavy packet loss conditions? And so that's where we're applying generative AI to reconstruct packets on the wire and deal with any kind of network conditions. And that's like another example of how we differentiate.
So can you also talk to us about a few challenges that you faced? Because this journey is non-trivial, as we just discussed.
Yeah, you touched upon some of those, but from a very practical point of view of what we have done, I'll start with data privacy as the first principle, because at Cisco, privacy is a core of everything that we do. And so when you're building these products, you have to make sure that your customer's data is protected. How do you make sure personally identifiable information or IP does not leak to especially any of these LLM vendors if you're integrating those unit products? Another thing that becomes very interesting with generative AI is safety. And imagine a text-based interface, a prompt-based interface. How do you make sure that the responses that come back are not in such a way that are going to drive some bad behavior or bad responses or hateful speech and things like that? So you have to make sure you have guardrails there. Another one is a classic AI problem that is very relevant to generative AI, which is bias. And this is where, at Cisco, we have a very well-established responsible AI program. You are the executive sponsor, so you know all about this. And this is also, you were talking about cross-org collaboration. This is a perfect example where we have a a responsible AI program that guides how we build products. And then I will also add cost as a vector here. When I'm building products, I want to make sure that the cost isn't prohibitive, that I don't really jack up my prices to such a level that nobody can benefit from these productivity gains. So how do you build and architect systems in such a way that it can be manageable from a cost point of view? So those are just a handful of challenges that we run into.
So let me come to you, Fletcher. And you have been rolling out Gen AI tools within Cisco for more than a year now, I would say. What's your philosophy? I mean, and give me some examples of some of the tools that you've rolled out. I mean, I'm a user of some of those tools, but where do you want to take it, and what's your philosophy and strategy?
Yeah, the philosophy is to think about AI as a teammate, not as a replacement for people. So somebody, a technology that gives people more time, makes them more productive, a force multiplier for what you're able to get done in a day. And sort of a way to think about it is, if the Industrial Revolution was about physical products and mass producing physical things, AI, and in particular generative AI, might be kind of the Industrial Revolution for knowledge workers. The mass production of information and learning, and ultimately returning time back to people to spend more time doing the thing you were hired to do, and less time doing the stuff that we all just feel like we're wasting time doing because we work at a big company. So we've rolled out some of the obvious things that you would probably have also rolled out. Copilot for GitHub, in the process of Copilot for Microsoft 365, ChatGPT, but doing those in controlled ways. Like ChatGPT is running in a private instance where we use the Azure PII API to remove any identifiable information from the prompts that anybody might put in. We also keep that all in our network, so none of the data gets reused for public training data. And then use technologies like retrieval augmented generation to combine the benefit of a large language model with the proprietary data that we know about our business. So think about things like TAC case data, Cisco product data. Can we make that chat be able to answer questions like, what is the PoE budget of this switch? When does this router get end-of-lifed and which one replaces it? I'm a salesperson. Help me write an email to the CIO of a big company about why Cisco firewalls are better than Palo Alto. And then not use public data to do that, but our private data from Salesforce and sales enablement material and things like that. The other big one that is interesting is Copilot for GitHub. I think historically we all thought software development is probably the thing that AI will never be able to disrupt. AI is going to disrupt these lower order jobs like HR, task-oriented things first. And software development is just human beings' creativity and their brains, and it's never going to be able to do that. Turns out AI is very good at writing software, or writing code, and it's one of the first real use cases of making developers more efficient. And so right now, 47% of all code being checked into GitHub is being augmented by Copilot or some other AI. And by the midpoint of this calendar year, GitHub says 80% of all code being checked in will be helped by AI. And so now, you've always sort of thought there's no way to compress software development. That's why we all focused on things like CI/CD pipelines, test automation, because that stuff you can automate. You can actually compress the amount of time that it takes to write software, which is allowing us to really do more with less. So that's just a few examples of, the intranet, we're building an LLM-enabled digital equivalent of a friend who has worked at Cisco for 20 years and knows everything. So you can go to the intranet and sort of, you'll be able to interrogate it and ask it things that if you were a new employee, where do I find this? How do I do that? What's the answer to this? And it will just know all those answers. Giving you the answer is one thing, but it will be able to do those things for you and actually take the action.
So Fletcher, I actually want to thank you because you have been a very progressive IT organization, and you've helped us adopt these tools when a lot of the enterprises take the posture of, just saying no because there's so many risks involved. Can you tell us a little bit about your thinking process for being so forward-looking and enabling us with that.
Well, luckily, and by the way, I should have said, we are, of course, also using the AI features of WebEx, which we use every day, a huge productivity enhancer, and some of the AI ops in things like Catalyst Center, formerly known as DNA Center. That helps my infrastructure team a great deal. But I think when we have these conversations with the responsible AI team, with legal, with security, the easy answer is we cannot move forward until we know all of the answers to every question that legal has, all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. The problem is, if you do that, you're going to get left behind. So how do we do this in a safe way where we're protecting our data? And as much as we worry about our data, we really worry about your data. We've got to make sure that is taken care of. But the philosophy is we're genuinely excited and curious about what people will do with this technology. So of course we have to make it available, but how do we do that in a safe way where if I'm doing my job well, people are not aware of any limits that we've imposed on them because people are not trying to do anything that they shouldn't be trying to do. And we're just enabling people to do what is required for their jobs. It's kind of the same approach to security. If you're constantly running into security controls, there's a problem. Really, you should be able to do your job and not be aware of any of the guardrails that are in place because you're not doing anything wrong. And it's sort of the same here. So, don't put, we allow people to go out to the public version, for example, of ChatGPT. But when you do it, you get a pop-up in the browser saying, if you're doing this for anything related to Cisco, you should be using the internal version. And if people paste something into the browser that is personally identifiable information or Cisco proprietary or Cisco confidential, we'll get an alert on that and we'll know about it. And so, there's just, it's a discussion with legal, with security, with HR, to get to the goal we all want, which is, isn't it going to be so exciting to see what all of our employees are going to do with this technology?
So I know we've all talked about that chart that I showed earlier. As you can imagine, we are building something from scratch, so everything from the models themselves all the way to the application, which was the fourth bucket, to what Fletcher was describing earlier, where you're taking a model, taking a chat application, and customizing it with some of the data sources that are specific to Cisco in our case, to make sure that it's relevant, it's specific, it's relevant, and it's recent. And so that entire mode, all the 4 modes are something that we all participate in all the time. And so with that, what I'd like to do is, we are also announcing this, this is going the other way. So we are announcing a new product called Motific, and Fletcher here has been very helpful in being a customer zero and helping define this, and so has Anurag because of all the experience that they've used in building out their product. The whole idea behind Motific is, like we were all discussing, it's a multi-organizational problem. So how do we bring all of these organizations together? From the end user, to the GM, to the builder, to the approver. Can we bring all of these personas together, as well as all of your organization-specific data sources, policies, identities, and so on, so that there is one place, a central hub, if you may, where you can come in, and this hub will help you rapidly and safely create and deploy your generative AI solutions. So that's what Motific is all about. And with that, let's roll the video.
The Gen AI landscape is uncertain, a constantly shifting terrain. But organizations must engage with Gen AI or risk being left behind. Introducing Motific, a complete software solution that provides the Gen AI innovation you need. With Motific, you can build trustworthy AI quickly and in compliance. Its centralized control gives you command over all your organization's data in one place, alongside enterprise-grade governance and oversight. Motific provides a window into your organization's costs and usage while accelerating your Gen AI deployment from months to days. By unifying permissions and controls, Motific gives you Gen AI tools that apply trust, cost and access management across all the providers you use. From a strong foundation comes unlimited possibilities. Accelerate your organization's GenAI journey with Motivic, powered by Outshift.
So if you think about the early days of cloud, this is exactly where we are with AI as well, generative AI as well. You'll have these organizations that are trying to run fast. How do you make sure that they run fast, as we've heard today from both our speakers here, our guests here, as well as making sure that central IT teams have the controls that they need and the visibility that they need to make sure that you're not crossing the boundary or the line somewhere. So that's what Motivic provides. If you want to learn a lot more about what Anurag talked about or about Motivic, these are some of the sessions that you can go to, and you can also come to our booths where we have the demos as well as talks on some of these ideas that we just discussed.
If I might add, because you talked about how we sort of contributed and inspired to this. So one of the challenges that we've been very aware of as builders is that the state of the art here is moving so fast that you want to maintain optionality. You don't want to lock yourself to a provider or a model. And it is very important for you to architect your product so that you can switch things out as the state of the art progresses forward. And a product like this would be a huge enabler in maintaining that optionality. And the policy controls that the video was talking about is also very, very important. Because when I'm building a product and selling it to thousands of customers, they all have their own policies, like Fletcher has the policy for Cisco. And so building a product that is flexible enough to adapt to all of these customers' policies is actually a very hard challenge. And then we went through this process, and so I'm glad that we finally are codifying all of that in a product so that the next developers are going to find it a lot easier to do that.
That's a great point, Anurag. So I think if you think about a product like this, I mean, the things that you brought up, first and foremost, the abstractions that you need to be vendor agnostic. So whether you're using ChatGPT or GPT, rather, or Bard or an open source LLM, it doesn't matter. Making sure that you have the policies and compliance and controls at your fingertips. Making sure that you have trust and safety taken care of, as well as your ROI and costs under control in one place, I think is super important. And everything that we're learning from both the IT and deployment side of the house, as well as the application development side of the house, actually feeds into a product like Motivic as well. So we are drinking our own champagne when it comes to Motivic. But yeah, thank you for being here. And we have to run, unfortunately, after this, but you can catch us at the collaboration booth. I think Fletcher is around as well. I'll be there at the Outshift booth. If you have questions, happy to answer them at those places. But for now, we'll have to run. But thank you for coming in and listening to us.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to the Cisco TV studio, coming to you from the beautiful Rai here in Amsterdam. Cisco Live 2024. Cedric, I cannot even believe that we have reached the final broadcast of this year's event here. It is a wrap. Yeah, here in EMEA, this is amazing. It feels, honestly, half an hour, 45 minutes ago that we kicked things off right here in the studio space. It really does fly by. But I think the reason that it flies by, it's the nature of the energy of this particular event. It is so strong. People are in such a good mood. It's really hard to convey that. I know we always seem like we're in a good mood and our energy is high, but you walk around at this particular show and people are just loving being here. And this is everybody from the attendees all the way up to the executives and the people who run this event.
I mean, it's also because, in this hybrid world, I can't even talk anymore.
You and Amy there in the back, our producer as well. She's just sort of on the way in the door, and yeah.
I can't even talk anymore. So we in a hybrid world right now, right? We work from home so much, Steve, and I think it's great because I think, to be here, because you can bump into colleagues that don't live close by, that live somewhere else in another country, and it just allows you to connect, and I think there is no substitute for human connection, right? As I hug you throughout the week.
The uncomfortably long Cedric hug. Yeah, I think you're exactly right. We are on global teams these days.
Yep.
And I feel like so often, even when we were in office before we hit pandemic times, our teams kept getting more and more and more diverse and more scattered, not necessarily siloed. It's just that we had to keep up with each other's calendars and schedules. And when half of your team is halfway across the world, all of a sudden we get a Cisco Live, and it's our opportunity to come together as a Cisco society and really gain that return to being with one another. I know I look forward to it.
It's an extension of our WebEx platform, right? I think I work at Cisco, so it's just great to have that technology, and it was great to hear about the innovations that we're doing on the platform as well, right? But I still think there is no substitute for it, right? It's just, you know, I can come and stand next to you and touch you and do that and so on. So it's just, you know, I just think there is absolutely, yeah, it's just great.
I'm so glad that you actually demonstrated that for everybody who's watching here on the broadcast. Like there is not some invisible glass and I'm actually sitting in a different studio somewhere than you are there.
A hologram.
It's a hologram. Speaking of hologram, no, we're not going to go there. Out on the show floor, for those of you that didn't get a chance to see it before. This is a people first event. For those of you who have never had the opportunity to come to a Cisco Live, we talk about this over and over again. It's great that you're with us on the broadcast. We love that. We want to make sure that we keep you here with us. And by the way, do keep reaching out on those social media platforms using hashtag Cisco Live EMEA. Our social media team will keep looking for those throughout the rest of today, but onward as well. We want to hear your commentary. But there really is something about being here in the room, the vibrancy, the energy, sharing the food, going for a coffee, taking a seat out in all the different areas. We're going to go to the bean bags in just a moment where Nish is hanging out in a different part of the show floor, right? But it's all about getting together in the room because that's where the creativity comes from. It's where the innovation comes from. And again, we're creating fantastic technology, but you know where it starts? There. Starts here at an event like this, or the one in the US, or the one in APJC.
Yeah, the US one is also not too far ahead from us,
it's
right?
Not too far off.
I think it's in June. So that will be awesome. But yeah, as you said, it starts here, right? And we heard so many great announcements from our leaders about the technology, from as I said already, collaboration to security, and in this ever-connected world, I think Cisco is going really fast. And I'm just so glad to be part of it and like to be able to explore while we're here at the conference and learn about our newest and greatest technologies.
It really is very exciting. Speaking of which, I want to go out to Nish, who is out in the world of solutions, I think in the beanbag area where people are hanging out, right, Nish?
I am indeed, Steve. The only thing is I can't find Rob, I can't find Sandy, I can't find Brandon. I'm a little bit concerned, but oh dear. Okay, guys, Rob, oi, you're always sleeping. Come on. Broadcast live now. What? Brandy, Sandy, Brandon, up. Come on, guys. Up. Right, as usual, Rob is sleeping. Producers, this is new. They don't normally sleep on the job. What have you done to them?
I didn't know they were there either, to be honest. This has been a great show. How have you been? How have you been?
Morning.
Shouldn't sleep with those contact lenses in, yeah?
No, that's not a good idea. All right, now you're up. I can ask you a question.
I'm ready.
And we can bring the real value to the viewers who are watching this broadcast.
What has been your favorite this week?
Great question. I would say the keynotes are always a highlight.
Yeah.
They're always a spectacular show. The music, the energy, the atmosphere, the tension because no one knows what announcements are going to be made. Mm-hmm. And then obviously sitting down with Oliver in the studio for our interview was super fun.
Yeah, well, he's a fun one to talk to, I think. And
yeah.
So a lot of great people as usual this year. Obviously AI is what we've been talking about this whole week, but one of the things that really jumped out at me is just all the work that's gone into full stack observability. So when I think about the technology aspects of things, I think about how we're bringing together the importance of this visibility at all levels of the network. The technologies that we use to do this are really coming together nicely, all the way to the endpoint. We're just dissolving lines between these silos that become important for getting work done. And so I just like what we're doing there. Yeah.
You know what else I learned this week?
What's that?
How to change a brake on a bike. Do you know how to change a brake on a bike?
I did not learn how to change a brake. I was there briefly.
So I build a bike, right?
You did the build a bike. Yeah. You were actually fixing brakes?
Exactly. So what they're doing there is all the other attendees can play a role in building a bike from scrap bikes, and then they donate those to Give a Bike Foundation, and that goes to local causes here, social causes.
Yeah, those are like discarded bikes, right?
Exactly.
And then they're giving them new life. And
exactly.
And I've seen they pull a lot of them out of the river here. People either lose them because of the wind, I don't know if they ditch them, but there are a lot of bikes in this town. You really got to watch your step.
Now, what was the best meal you've eaten this week? There's so much on offer, right?
Wow, see, I didn't spend much time eating this week because we've been busy running around. I don't know, the food's been really good.
We've had awesome.
I think you brought me some pizza a little bit earlier,
I did.
and I was thinking, this pizza tastes a little bit different than what I'm used to. It was very good.
It was
Something
great.
in the wheat. I don't know what it is. But my favorite food is always the one that's within hand's reach.
Hands reach,
Yeah.
exactly. And did you check out DevNet this year? I know you love to interview DevNet.
I had a good time talking to them. DevNet, to me, has started to really both embrace and drive the culture for what's important, both from a people and a learning aspect, but also youth. Where's the technology going? How are we preparing for the future to live in a programmatic world where things aren't as nailed down and hardware specific as we've always had them in the past? It's just a nice confluence of things coming together. I like that. I think I'm going to go ahead and throw us back to the studio for now. So guys, we'll check back in.
Rob, thank you so much. Nish as well. What you guys have been talking about for the past couple of moments there is the culture of this particular show. And Cedric, this is what a lot of people I think don't know about Cisco as a corporation, right? They look at the products, they look at the services, they look at what they can do in partnership with Cisco, and they see us as a gigantic technology company, which they should. We are the leader, we are kind of the big power there in the room, but what they don't really understand is the culture of working with this organization, that the people of this company are what this company is all about, right?
Well, if you think about it, Steve, this whole conference, like we keep in mind sustainability everywhere. I think at Cisco we're so big about empowering an inclusive future for all. So I think one thing that I want to call out, and I want to say thank you to those people as well that are here, is we have crisis response teams on the show floor as well. And basically what they do is they help people in need, in areas in needs, and they use Cisco technology to get networks up and running, to get IP phones up and running, so that people who are, let's say, after an earthquake or anything like that, and the systems are down, they basically help getting the systems up again and allowing those people to connect. So actually we're really changing lives.
I love that. Marvin was in here a little bit earlier. He and I had an opportunity to talk, and he was speaking about what we do in support of human beings, that part of the inclusion that is so important is that we're not just checking a box when we talk about that. We recognize that that inclusion makes us stronger. The more people we get together in the room, the more diversity of thought, the more creativity, the better we tend to innovate, and the better we are responding to not only crises, but also demands within the marketplace. This is what we do at Cisco. We're always about feedback. We're always about learning. We want to hear from people. What is it that you need? How do we help you reach the outcome, the success outcome that you are desiring? And whatever we can do, we're going to make that happen. And speaking of talking to people, do me a favor. I want you to introduce your own Vox Pop video. I introduced you last time. What did you do to put this piece together?
So basically, I always find it fun to go out on the show floor and to basically, as I always call, annoy some of our attendees, because not everybody thinks it's fun, but for me, I have a blast doing that. And basically I asked them this time, what's so amazing about Cisco Live? So let's roll the VT and have a quick look.
Let's figure out what people think about Cisco Live. Let's go. If I ask you 3 words about Cisco Live, what are the 3 words?
Oh, impressive, powerful, I think simple as well.
Venture, a family, security.
Interesting, fun.
Forward-thinking, getting to know your peers.
High technology. Leadership.
Good vibes.
Training.
Massive, eye-opening,
Inspiring.
inspiring,
Good fun.
cutting edge.
Impactful.
Awesome.
Everyone could join.
Magic.
It's very busy.
I found him. I found you.
Well, I wasn't lost.
Incredible. Incredible.
Innovation.
Innovation. Innovation.
Innovative.
Innovative.
Networking, friendship, people.
Amazing.
Amazing, amazing and amazing to be free.
Amazing, outstanding.
So if you have to convince your colleagues or friends to come next year, how would you do it?
Look at me.
I don't have to, because we are all here.
Well, I want because I want to, come again, so they would just take up my spot.
The networking and the connections you can make here, along with the moments you would live, I think they are not something you can replace.
If you want to go for the latest news, most interesting insights, you definitely have to be here in Amsterdam.
I would tell them that it's really nice and they had to see it.
Fantastic way to meet with partners and customers.
Everyone's here again. to kind of make a success story about how we can make everything a lot better, a lot easier for everyone.
Go to Cisco Live.
Let's go! Go to Cisco Live, let's go. That really sums it all up. I always say that our guests, our visitors, our attendees, our customers, our partners, they tell the story the best. It is an amazing, remarkable experience. Cedric, you did such a great job out there with everybody.
It's quite hard, Steve, sometimes, because I asked them 3 words for Cisco Live. So many of them actually gave me like whole sentences of why they love to come. So but I love the woman that said, amazing, amazing, amazing. That's how I feel when I come here and when I see you and the crew and all of us who are here.
Couldn't agree with you more. Again, it's a dynamic that's here in the space, which is why we really would love for all of you who are tuning into the live stream to be here in person with us, so you can come and visit us here in the Cisco TV studio. All right, we've got about 1 minute where you and I are going to talk about our single favorite space here at the WAS. I'm putting you on the spot. What was your single favorite space? You get to pick one.
Ah, it's so hard, Steve.
I know. It's the store, isn't it?
I was going to say that, but I'm going to try another one. I think it's our collaboration zone. I love collaboration. If you've tuned in over the week, I talk about it quite a lot. I was really excited to interview some people about it. So I just love it how we basically touch the end user with our products there.
Excellent. I am going to pick, because I have such a close relationship with them, Outshift by Cisco. I love what Outshift is doing. There's this whole idea that where Cisco ends, Outshift begins. It's this idea of where do we go next? What is the big idea? And we talk about this all the time. A lot of our customers say, well, what's my next big bet? What should I be looking for? What should I be looking forward to? Outshift has got that story, and I've had plenty of opportunity to talk with our Outshift leaders, and it's just been a fantastic experience. I think another great area that we want to point out, Rob was over there quite a bit this morning, was DevNet. And DevNet is actually celebrating a great anniversary. So we're going to go out to the floor where Rob is with the DevNet folks. Hello, my friend.
The significance of DevNet at Cisco is that there's not really another game in town to programmatically interact with our products and solutions. You're a command line, interface person, or you are utilizing, web interfaces, whatever it is. At some point, you're going to want to do automation. There's some point you're going to want to do programmability. And DevNet is a way to not only educate you in how that's done, but also enables you to go build your own solutions in that space. So I think that we've got a unique role here at Cisco. Back in August of 2023, celebrated 10 years of DevNet, and it's an unbelievable milestone for this organization. It's great to look back over the last 10 years and look at what's taking place, where it's either learning labs or sandboxes or just the overall API quality and experience that Cisco has grown. And it's just fantastic, the community that we have built of people that are helping us learn about their use cases, but also we turn around and help educate them and enable them to do what they're doing. We're going to continue doing the things that we already do, and that is to continue building and interacting with our community of operators and developers and network administrators who are trying to come and understand how to programmatically deal with Cisco stuff. But we also have this unique opportunity to add in brand new personas, cloud native personas, and security operations teams, and even full stack developers who now need to understand infrastructure. We also have new technologies. We're bringing in artificial intelligence programmability, sustainability programmability. These are all things that we can add into what we're doing in the next 10 years and beyond.
And happy 10th anniversary to amazing DevNet. Congratulations to all of you out there on the team. I know I mentioned that we were going to throw it over to Rob there in the DevNet. We don't need Rob. DevNet tells its own story so beautifully, and we're really excited for every single one of them. Congratulations, and we look forward to telling a lot more DevNet stories. We're going to head back out somewhere to our own Nish Parker. Nish, where are you now?
Hey, Steve. I'm here in hybrid work, and I'm joined by Kim. Kim, I can't believe it's the end of the week. How are you doing?
Doing great. Nish, sorry about that. Doing great. We've had a very busy week here at the hybrid work booth. Way more people than we anticipated, actually, and it's been really exciting. We've had a lot of people come with already using a lot of the stuff. They love this wall. This has been the big draw, this wall. People like to touch the products and see the products. So we've had tons of people come over and say like, oh, I have this and I have this, but I don't have these other things. Talk to me about it. So it's been really good. We've gotten lots of leads, people who are saying, yes, I want someone from Cisco to call me. We've heard about new and interesting applications that we haven't even thought of yet. So it's been really good.
Awesome. And you said this is your second Cisco Live, I think. And you said it's been a while since you joined the last one. So what's new this time? What's changed?
I would say it's more fun. This is more fun. There's more gamification. There's more, people sharing, and I just think it's more fun than, the last one I went to was a little bit more business-oriented, professional. This is just, like I said, we got games over here, and there's snacks, and there's just, and the music, and it's more fun. 10 years later, it's more fun.
Amazing, I love it. And I can see my co-host Rob is just being Rob, really, and just dancing around in the background. No idea what he's doing. But Kim, just give me one reason why people need to come to Cisco Live next year if they're not here now.
The products, and you got to learn about all this cool technology. I mean, this is the future, right? This is the future. We're measuring air quality and environmental stuff, and we're teaching you how to make your buildings smarter and conserve energy. I mean, this is the future. You've got to come. Cisco built the internet, and you've got to be here.
Thank you so much, Kim. All right, back to the studio.
Thank you so much, Nish. I appreciate it. Great to have a little extra conversation out there on the show floor. For all of you here on the live stream, I would love for all of you to understand just what it takes to put this together. It is an enormous operation. I am here on set the entire time, and I get to hang out with Malcolm and Mike and Mark and Alex and Ali and the crew here, and then in the back I've got Pete and I've got Alfredo helping me with the audio. That's just who's around me most of the week. Then in the back we've got all of our amazing producers, Simon, Erica, Carrie, Amy V, Amy P, incredible people. Rob is going to take us on a little tour of exactly what it takes to put this Cisco TV broadcast together. We're going to take you behind the scenes right now. Rob, take it away.
Well, I wanted to give you a behind-the-scenes tour here at the Cisco TV studios, and this is the very, very back. This is where the equipment is set up, and only the engineers are going to be messing with this stuff here, starting with all the optical networking, of course. We've got the Cisco network that supports all the connectivity in here, because there's as many as 3 to 4 large sources coming from the keynote space, from the iTalk, of course, from the multiple studios and remote camera systems that we have. All that gets fed through here, processed in the control room, which I'll show you in just a moment. But the point is, this has got to be collapsed and then encoded properly for where it's going, which would be Cisco.com, be YouTube, and all the other sites in which this stuff is simulcast. But then there needs to be a quality check on the streams themselves as it comes back around to make sure that all of you are getting a good experience, of course, watching from home, and that's what this team is responsible for. They've got a wireless RF team. It's one of the ones I've been out with this entire time, where they've got antennas set up in crucial primary areas around the venue, and that enables us to do audio, video, as well as communications handled here so that we can communicate with the producer, whatever it may be. These guys enable us to make those adjustments. Now, a lot of information has to be captured and then edited on the fly, so there's only one editor solely working here, trying to carry it all himself. So in just a moment, we're going to take a look inside the producer's area and take a look at what gets put on the screen from the studio. Starting over here, what is your role one more time?
I'm looking after records and the hot head camera.
So all those cameras get individually recorded, and he maintains all of that here so we don't miss a thing. As we go a little bit further, here's our engineer for the show. He is making sure that all the cameras are balanced, the colors match. He's prepping all the graphics that then come up for our director. Carrie's in control of absolutely everything here. So she's got this big board. She's got to choose all the shots. So she's got previews of every camera. She's got countdown clocks to let her know how much time is left on a videotape being played in. So on this table here, we've got lighting, very, very important. We've got producers who are making sure that the show that was promised is the one being delivered. Over here, we've got wonderful, one of my favorite positions is audio, because nothing works when this doesn't work. We've got makeup, and here we've got our beautiful host. Nish is here getting your makeup, and these ladies take care of making sure that we don't look shiny on camera, that everything, we look wide awake, despite what our last night was involved in. Either way, thank you so much, guys. You do a wonderful job. Let's now go back out. Here they've set up 2 studios for this here, which is really quite nice. As you can see, we've got multiple camera positions here. We've got our floor director, Ali, over here, making sure everything is ready to go. We bring guests out, pre-position the host. Here we've got another one of our hosts, Cedric, is prepping for his next interview. And then we've got a separate set over here. So very intelligently, the cameras can go back and forth to pick up different things so we can stage differently. And so that's the studio. That's your behind-the-scenes look at Cisco TV. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Rob. Fantastic. That is maybe the quickest tour that we've ever been able to take. Like I said, you have no idea of the complexity that it takes to put this remarkable broadcast together. 50 people here just working on the Cisco TV team, and they really do a brilliant job, and they make us look phenomenal, don't they?
Just want to say a thank you to everyone because it's always such a blast and it's a great team, as you said, and we kind of, at Cisco itself, we're a family, but I think the Cisco TV team in itself is also a family, and I always love hanging out with all of you guys. I'm just going to look at who I can see.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I wanted to, by the way, add one more shout out of my own. I know we walked through the makeup area. Lucy, Vic, thank you for making us look phenomenal, and Lucy, especially thank you for playing with my hair all week long, and I think we've gone through 19, 20 cans of hairspray. It is, otherwise it kind of flies all over the place. All right, we've got oh, you know what, we're going to head right on out to RF and the health and well-being zone. Miss Nish, are you out there?
Actually, you got
It's
Rob out here.
I never know who's doing anything. Oh, there we go. There you are.
You don't need to know, because we're going to tell you what's happening. We've got a little bit of a contest going on. Nish has been talking some smack about her golf skills, especially as it relates to using clubs that have, what do you call these, clogs? Clogs. So, Nish, you demonstrate for us here how this works. Steve, if we can swing around, let's see if Nish can get this. You've got, take your first swing. Let's see how close you get to the hole. You ready? Okay. Careful, don't overdo it. I should stand back. This is looking, that probably helped you. All right, that's good though. Look, you're playing conservative. I think this is gonna work out great. Guys, if you ever get a chance to come by the health and wellness zone, this is a place where you can come to recharge. Maybe a little healthy. Yeah, there you go, she did it. Only 3 strokes on a par 1. I don't know. But either way, this is a fantastic place. I don't know why he's pedaling so hard. Oh, maybe it's because the only way he can make that blender turn. Come take a look at this. How many people over here are depending on that blender? Do you get to drink it, or are you doing it on behalf of everybody else? That's for your drink. You get to drink it. Y'all are waiting to pedal your own? Everybody leaves. They go, camera guys here, we're out. All right, so y'all have no electricity. Is that how this booth works? This is sustainability at its finest. If you're gonna drink it, I did this once and I learned don't try to do that and talk at the same time.
I don't think these shoes are very practical for smoothie making.
But you look fantastic.
Thank you, Rob, but I do want a smoothie. I have to come back with my sneakers on.
So this is where you come to recharge. It's a health and well-being area.
Yes.
Pedal for your food. I think that's a great move, especially in this town.
Exactly.
Either way, we'll go back to you in the studio, Steve.
Great. Oh, sorry,
Hey,
you're back to
Steve,
me. This is great. This is how you know it is our final broadcast. Everything is going sort of a bit haywire. We're all just talking to one another. You caught me in the middle of chatting with my producer on this one. So all of the fun that they're having out here, you'll notice that there are a few less people out there than there were in previous broadcasts. You know why? Because everybody's on their way to the customer appreciation event. Yet one more fun thing is the big party that we get to do here on the final night of the conference. And boy, they put on a good show here.
I went and had a sneak peek, Steve. I walked in with my event staff badge and I just had a look and it seems amazing. I can't wait. 6:30, I'll see you there.
Okay, we're going to go back out to Rob and Nish, I believe is what I heard. Are people dancing? Is this what I just heard a moment ago?
You reminded me of the party, and so Nish had the little tune in her head. I don't know how, but I heard it.
And then
I'm
we
like,
were
oh, I know
just
that one.
dancing along
I know
to
that
it.
one. Yeah.
And also dancing to the pace of
Look
the
at this
bike.
guy multitasking. He's taking phone calls while making breakfast.
I know, that is talent right there.
But it's the way you get stuff done. This speaks to the productivity being enabled by everything here. It comes in the oddest places. The health and well-being at the very least. I may take a banana. Can I have a banana, as they say?
So I have noticed we picked up on each other's accents, the way that we speak. I say router sometimes. You put things in the bin and not the trash.
A router?
A router.
A router. Yeah, I said router.
But we are forever learning the spirit of Cisco Life.
Perfect. All right, well, I'll let you throw back.
Yeah, let's head back to the studio. Steve, Cedric.
Get that banana and walk your way back on over here to the studio. We miss you too. Come on back with us. Nish, you were wearing the shoes. I appreciate that commitment. I really do. What we're going to do right now, Cedric, is we're going to take a moment to check out a highlights reel. Some of the really fun stuff that we've been doing. So let's go ahead and go to that right now. Enjoy.
Welcome to Cisco Live.
Let's go.
And that right there is Rob with the world's famous banana. Oh, you never know what's going to happen. Banana? Wait a minute, that's for me. Give me the banana. Give me the banana. Give me the banana lives here with me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Boss.
I never get out of here. Got to bring me something. What you just saw, that is why people want to come to Cisco Live. And I want to give one quick shout out because we didn't do it before. Editing on these video pieces has been brilliant this week. Bravo. I mean, seriously, they've been just fantastic, fantastic captures. So thank you. Hi, friends. Welcome back, you crazy, chaotic, high-heeled, miniature golf-playing human beings.
Yes, can we just say, though, that I was pretty tame, and I'm like, I keep an eye on Rob. When you send Rob and Cedric out, who knows what's going to happen?
Well, it's very true. Well, the two of them misbehave, so at least when the two of you are together, you can keep him, when you don't have to wake him up out of a beanbag. My friends, I cannot believe we are at the end of the broadcast. Another fantastic Cisco Live in the books, and an opportunity to share time with you beautiful human beings. Truly, truly appreciate it.
And to you, Steve.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You'll miss my hugs.
I will, I promise. I will miss your hugs. Until next year, or the way it goes. All right, guys, we have just got about 1 minute and 45 seconds left in this broadcast before we put the wrap on it. I'm going to give you each one opportunity, like we do at the end of each one of these shows, one opportunity to call out one thank you.
Because we get teary-eyed.
We'll dab now. We absolutely will.
But what about
one favorite thing, Nish, I'm going to start with you. You get to pick one. Go.
Being able to bring this beautiful, wonderful, however many square feet of wonderfulness to everybody at home.
Bravo, I love it. Cedric, you, go.
I think it's working with you all, both here and both back there.
Absolutely. All right, Rob.
Are you
I'll bring you back the banana. You're sad. Here you go. Fine, you take the banana.
How does this do you do the... Is that to keep from messing up the makeup? When you do
it's fine. It's a lot.
Yeah, Lucy and Vic are on their way out right now. All right.
Favorite thing?
One. Yeah,
favorite
one.
Thing. One thing. Sleeping on the beanbags.
That really was your favorite?
It was up till I wasn't.
You saved the best to the last. All right, my favorite thing, and I know this is going to sound so corny, it's when we get the leaders together here in this space and I get to see their passion. It takes a huge amount of work to build this particular event. And yes, they're brilliant at what they do. And yes, they create phenomenal products. And yes, they have phenomenal teams. But they come here and they show us what they're all about. They show us their incredible energies. And I just find that remarkably exciting. I think it's great, right, Nish?
For sure, 100%. I just want to say thank you to you. You've been in that exact, 30, 40 centimeters squared all week, and you've done a wonderful job in taking us out to the World of Solutions, taking us out to the keynote. We've been running around. You've
Talking
got
to
your
the
steps
producers
in.
on camera.
Talking to the producers on camera. Thank you, my sweetie. I appreciate it. Once again, we want to thank all of you for tuning into the broadcast. We are so grateful to have all of you with us at this show and every single year. That is a wrap for Cisco Live 2024. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.